course, a map they don't really play that well on towards the side of Heretics. We'll have to see. First, a knife to decide who will start on either side. And, of course, once more, we would expect the CT side to be favored. Will it be, however? That's going to be the big question.
Oh, but that's always the question, because although you would say that CT side is always favored, it doesn't always shine through all that much. And this time around, we'll have to see now. Stabby stabs coming in. And it looks to be maybe, just maybe, Heretics their knife round this time, because it's only Lime left. And as Kalinka gets shivved in the back and J-Lime goes to that engagement, sadly he does get fragged out by XMS. And Heretics take, well, their third knife round so far, because they've really been rocking those.
Well, consistency is key, RJ, and apparently all their knife skins actually work out for them. And that means they will most likely once more start on that CT side. That seems more than logical. It's at least a side you most likely feel most comfortable on, and of course a side you can really get in your favor. However, financial pressure will be on from the side of HELLRAISERS, yet Heretics is quite strong at managing their economy until they actually start losing some rounds and they can't really make their retakes happen.
Indeed, and we'll have to see now how that does pan out, because I'm interested here. You know, I have said it just now, as well, Mirage is a map with a pretty terrible win rate for Heretics, a whopping 0, as I put it. And whilst this is not HELLRAISERS their best map, as a matter of fact, actually, when I had a look-see yesterday evening, you know, preparing, of course, as you do.
What?
HELLRAISERS have, yeah, I know, right? It's just unimaginable. HELLRAISERS have lost 4 times in a row on Mirage in the last few times. So it's for them going to be a moment to show that they can actually come back on this, that they can actually finally get a win in there. And against Heretics, you would say that they do have a certain advantage. But still, I am worried, you know, that 4-map loss streak is a nasty thing to see on HLTV.
Oh, we do see HELLRAISERS taking that A side quite effectively because Heretics is playing it on retake. The retake so far starting off well, but then there will be some frags coming in from that T side. It's only Kiyoshima and Nivera alive. The defuse kit, of course, to be recovered as Kiyoshima takes down 2. They need to find now Flourish at home. Nivera,
wow.
You're so good. You know, so you need to maybe find a bomb, but with the defuse kit in hand, there's no problem whatsoever. And this is how you play the A side on retake. First, you let them come in, feel a little bit more safe. You have your players in a position to then bounce back. They may have lost a few more at the get-go, but still they were able to come back due to, of course, banking on Kiyoshima and Nivera with the last frag as well.
And we'll see indeed. That is the pistol round going to the Heretics side. Means that they've got on their CT pistol round down so far, and who knows, that could just as well bode well for them. Of course, they did also get that CT pistol round on the previous map, so it could be a bit of a consistent line that we're seeing coming in here now. But, oh, Flourish there, JR, they're coming in quite immediately now. Quite harshly punishing Heretics for just taking that pistol round away from them. You can see how heavily mid is getting locked down now and how HELLRAISERS are absolutely and decisively taking the control. Now gives them the opportunity to push through via connector. We see Lucky now falling back into market. You can see the HELLRAISERS players just showing up, getting, well, having gotten all those frags and now completely retaking the A site. And whilst you did say, you know, Heretics, they retook that A site very well in the previous round, I do believe that they might not be able to pull that off again because there's only 2 of them.
Oh, and they're already going for save.
Yeah, they're already saving.
And like the big problem here is, it is of course HELLRAISERS being able to buy up quite well due to the side of Heretics actually playing that retake A side the last time around. And that now also meant that it's quite easy for HELLRAISERS to buy those AKs. You actually see free. And then a scout for JR. And that worked out wondrously. They just peeked in. They got those frags. They got their utility as well, just slightly. And that means they now bring it back to a 1-1. And I believed from that pistol round win for Heretics, they at least will get a decent start, but they don't. They will have a FAMAS, they will have a AUG on towards Lucky, and of course they will force by around those. But that's still a very terrible start because they should have now been 3-0 in the lead most likely. They should have put down this force buy from HELLRAISERS, but despite them losing the first round, I believe HELLRAISERS had the better buy.
Indeed, and HELLRAISERS, well, they also did get that bomb planting, of course, you know, not to be forgotten. That with that, they got a nice little extra financial incentive. And we'll have to see in a moment now how this third round is going to turn. If it could be HELLRAISERS their second one in a row, of course, as we've said, you know, it is their map pick and it is their battleground. Right now, it starts well enough, although Lucky there did frag out Flourish to begin it with. Lime comes in with the 12 frag himself. XMS's solid hold from Underwood. And then he goes on top, tries to dodge out that molly, and that's a very good flash by Kiyoshima coming in. Really good support, allowing XMS to just get those frags. And that is a very strong hold on that A site by him. 2 frags already, and, well, HERRETICS quite clearly deciding, yeah, the A site, that's not going to be it today, lads.
Well, it now means that HERETICS is stacking towards the A side, yet the bomb is already rotated towards B. One player in market, that is Kalinka with an MP9, of course recovered from the previous round, and JR also throwing down a smoke just to make it a little bit safer to go for a plant himself. HERETICS most likely will go for an attempt on towards this round with a defuse kit on towards Nivera, and still, of course, at AUG on towards Kiyoshima. Yet they're biding their time. They're waiting for themselves to be grouped up because they want to have a 4-on-1 situation. With XMS now also swapping around some rifles with the rest of his team. They're pushing in Kalinka with a spray down, gets 2. And this might be disastrous. It's going to be a 3rd and almost a 4, yet Kiyoshima not really peeking in that quickly. He doesn't have the defuse kit. It's dropped somewhere in the market floor, and that means now going on towards this side, he will not have a chance to defuse at all. JR, of course, also standing by with the AK in hand, now spotting the player move by. As Kiyoshima just gets away in time. It will be a 2nd round in a row for HELLRAISERS, doing really well on towards this round, despite losing some players on towards A.
I will see now if HELLRAISERS can maintain this advantage. Of course, they did actually play that out quite well at the end, and it is all thanks to Kalinka. Look at this double, and eventually, well, the triple. He did really try to go for that 4K, and you would love to have seen it happen, but Kiyoshima did have to deny him at least something. Quite a damaging round as well for HELLRAISERS, though, as only 1 player left alive. And we'll see if that does break them up badly. It is not too bad, it seems, as we've got Flourish there. He went for that Mac 10 investment. Could have, of course, gone for an AK, but is expecting an eco, so he does want to get those extra, well, bonus frags in for those extra hard stacks of cash.
Dollar bills, y'all. As we do see HERETICS now swamping around that T-spawn area. Yet they don't really commit on towards a peak towards A just yet. They're possibly also a little bit hesitant because they don't want to give any money away to that Mac 10. Kiyoshima with the only AK, the only rifle they had on the HERETICS side, now goes down as he walks solo towards Palace. I'm clueless as to why. I truly don't understand why you would go solo and then go to a place where you know they have planted and they might also go aggressive because they haven't encountered any aggression.
One of life's great mysteries, I would say.
Kiyoshima's lurking. You never know why he does it, how he does it, and if it works out. Well, now he doesn't. The AK not recovered. Lucky at least finding the defuse kit. It's something. Yeah, that does also mean that's another clean round in favor of HELLRAISERS, and they are building some economy. Problem so far, having some problems with fragging. 0 frags, but it doesn't really matter because, well, they're 3-1 ahead. They now have to play against a new buy from HERETICS after just ecoing before. With the AWP of Maka, they might be able to make it work, but it also depends on the rest of the team, of course, stepping up around it. They only have that 1 defuse kit and moderate utility, I have to say.
It's really not the best. You know,
No,
it's like you've got a few smokes, nade here or there to work with, but we're going to have to see how that one gets played out because right now the utility that they had is used positively. But see Lime here and he just goes onto the site and he knows what he wants. Kiyoshima here though, supporting Maka with a boost. He can actually get a frag out of it himself. How did he do that?
It's a boost over the smoke, most likely. Just sees a little bit of the head of Lime popping up, or he just jumped by, and that makes it quite easy to get a frag. Lucky now also taking down a frag together with Kiyoshima, yet not being granted an assist, as JR will have a return frag on towards Kiyo, still in the jungle position. A 3-2-3 situation with JR actually being rather low, but the bomb has now been planted, so the time it is starting to tick. And Maka with AWP on towards CT will be spotted out by JR. Great timing from the usually upper for the HELLRAISERS side, as they now have a player lead. And Ivera is trying to move in, trying to equalize the score, or at least equalize the players. Yet they're so caught up in different hard locations to clear out. And Ivera, he spots out JR. This should be a touchdown, and indeed it will be. Ivera also spotting now a second, but the time is running out, and Lucky, he'll really have to get moving, but he won't. He knows his round is done and dusted. He at least gets the AK, as Kalinka is trying to hunt him down to deny that weapon. Another round in favor of HELLRAISERS, 4-1, and I believe that Heretics could do this. I believe they could actually retake or at least hold on. But the problem was, Kirishima was able to get one frag. They could take down the player, boost it in towards jungle, but HELLRAISERS already had the side control, was already able to refrag when they needed to, and just get another round. Now against another eco for the Heretics side, it's going to be very hard for the French team to keep a positive mindset, and of course to come back later on.
What I do notice every time is that HELLRAISERS, they have to fight so hard to get their round wins in.
Yes.
And that is kind of negative for them if they want to try and build up some reserves, although they are still managing pretty well so far, you know? I mean, look at those amounts. They're still respectable enough amounts. They might not be the highest. They could have probably been higher as well, but the result is there at the end, and that is kind of, well, the main focus, I should say. And we'll see now how the rest of that gets played out as we see them once again getting onto that bomb site, and, well, understandably so. Plant comes in, and Heretics, they still have to even try if they're even going to bowl it.
Nah, I don't think so. Same with AK, and of course everything you actually want on towards Lucky. There's no reason to risky this. Kirishima makes a dropping noise. Problem with his first frag right here. And now he moves back in time. Kalinka also from the B-Apps trying to contest and deal some damage as well on towards some of the players of Heretics. They will be able, however, to pick up a second AK as Kalinka goes down. That's a very good reward for Heretics for playing just a very slow game and not really doing anything towards the Heretics players. And, well, XMS standing by, deagle in hand, biting this time, hoping the second player would come in, but JR, he actually takes down Nivera. Still, 2 AK saved. Of course, Lucky still with armor and a defuse kit. That's some really good money gained by them, and that could even mean they'd go for a double AWP setup. Yet at this moment in time, Mecha even picks up the AK. Possibly meant for Nivera, but, well, we won't know until he throws it over, and indeed it will be. Mecha, of course, going for that AWP, trying to bring a second round to the Heretic side. However, HELLRAISERS so far, just momentum-wise, very strong, being able to, even in close rounds, play it out to their advantage.
I've put in a little bit on HELLRAISERS on buy.gg, by the way. Yeah, I want to try and make something back for the community, you know. I can't, I've been dealing with so many oh dear, the moment I say that, and Heretics pulls this.
Expected, aren't you?
Oh, the caster curse is real, and problem completely naded out as well. That is dire, but let's see now if maybe this round, well, this round will quite probably go to Team Heretics. You know, it's just a thought. But with that, though, I do wonder if this is going to be just the one, or if maybe we're going to see a sort of, well, Heretics comeback now. It is possible, of course, and we'll see, though, in a moment. Problem here, the best he can hope for is maybe getting one more tap. If they rotate around well enough, maybe there's a tiny chance that they could open up a side. They've still got 50 seconds to play with, so there's definitely enough time, and he's not going to be spotted out by any Heretics players just yet. They're mostly on that A-bomb site. Now we see them here reconvening, and they'll be making their way towards B. They'll take their time for it.
Yeah, it just takes 2 hours, and they will be doing for a little bit of a sprint. Then, of course, from this point onwards, you usually do sneak, not to give away too much information, and they won't. Nivera trying to spot out if there will be a player coming in. He's not really going for a juicy jump, but when the mollies fly and the smokes as well, he knows they are on their way. And he's standing by, waiting for them to move in, and that's a frag for Nivera. Bomb also dropped. Only problem alive. That's an easy follow-up. Mecha, of course, having the AWP. Nivera now going for the double op setup. And it's a 2-on-5 situation. And now we finally see things going in favor of the French. And RJ, are you betting on towards HELLRAISERS? You're going against Maniac again. Why would you?
Oh, but this is, you know, this.
But is it just for this map or just for the entire series? Oh, then I
just
can
for this
understand.
map. Oh yeah, I'm playing it safe now this time round. You know, like I've won one bat so far today, and I will admit, yeah, bring it in
Sick.
there. I know. That was on the second map on Heretics winning that one.
Same.
Yeah. And I know I have said, you know, in the past, like, oh, if I win one, then I'm going to be done for the day, but gotta think about that community, man.
How much did you win?
Like 4.
Oh, whoa, dude, that's insanely
I know, right?
much, RJ. I
Wild.
can understand why you almost wanted to play it safe. Or not. As we do see, of course, a full buy to come in from HELLRAISERS. Utility to be expanded by either team. And, well, there's nothing much happening. Heretics not really on that aggression all that much, yet they're now trying to contest the A-ramp area. They're trying to get some intel. Yet, if there's not a player there, they won't really go too wild. But look at this setup. Actually, no mid-pressure to come out, apart from an Opper on towards short, who's also trying to hold on towards the B-apps. And that means that HELLRAISERS has a lot of room to work with, yet it takes them a lot of time to actually get in there. And now they use more utility, yet there's no player whatsoever. However, Mecha now says, well, you've waited long enough. I'll be there whenever you need me. And Kalinka, he's standing in the smoke. Flashbangs might be coming out. Kalinka goes for the push, but the smoke from HELLRAISERS actually helping out Mecha at this moment in time. The moment Kalinka goes through the smoke, he might get a frag as XMS now takes down Lime. But Kalinka, he's spraying. He doesn't know where Mecha is. He will get him in the end. And that's maybe more luck than, well, maybe skill, as we do see XMS falling back towards Sandwich. There's two players coming down from ramp, and it's going to be Lucky already falling as well. XMS being stuck between the rock and the hard place, or in towards Sandwich Bread. That means we're back to a 2-on-2. Look at the time. They have to go for the plant on the HELLRAISER side. And there's still some utility. Kiyoshima has a nade, yet he doesn't use it. Or actually, Nivera does, and he will indeed throw it in. They are to be tagged up. Towards the sandwich area. They know where the Opper is. They'll try to contest him maybe a little bit safer. They have two flashes, one smoke. Two players left to find.
Yep, and the attempted wallbang is there, but it doesn't really quite happen. They must know his position for almost certain by now, though. And
they don't know where HELLRAISERS is. That's the problem. That's a very clean spray now, because they were only focusing on that AWP, because that's the player they know. That's the player they fear, because it's JR with the AWP. And that's how you throw away around, RJ.
Yeah, that's tunnel vision there for a moment.
Oh, yes.
I don't understand why they suddenly thought that HELLRAISERS just didn't exist anymore, but that's a shame for them, and that does mean that HELLRAISERS now grab the 6th round. Of course, you know, they didn't win the knife round. They didn't win the pistol round. So for their T side, I do want to say that they are performing quite admirably so far. And we're going to have to see how now they pull it off for the rest of the half. We are now getting into the, well, I'd say tail end of that first half. And we're going to see how the rest of these rounds kind of, well, change up. Oh, I do like seeing that Krieg on problem. See how that one plays out.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, as JR is trying to spot out with the AWP and wanting to get an opening kill. Lime, however, already got one on towards XMS. And look at the pressure coming down from mid. They're just rushing down connector, and Problem almost had a frag on towards Lucky, and he was able to move away in time as Problem took out some utility. Mac in the meantime takes down Kalinka. That's a key fragger, of course, on the side of HELLRAISERS as Mecha takes down another on towards HELLRAISERS. Kiyoshima follows things up. The JR down, and Mecha just gets another player thrown in towards his scope, leaving only Lime alive. This is very odd. There were very good positions. There was a control from HELLRAISERS, even with a opening frag, and they just don't know how to commit towards a round. Now Kiyoshima is standing by, he knows where the player is, but Nivera goes a little bit too quickly and gets a frag. That means we now have a 3-6 scoreline. HELLRAISERS losing more and more of course, their advantage, as they are also now forced, possibly on towards a force buy.
I do believe that left Lime in the limelight there for a moment. But indeed, Heretics, thanks to Mecha pretty much here with short control, get their 3rd round. Very well played by them, but in the end, I'd almost say, well, it was kind of thrown into Mecha's lap there. He just had to hold his hold-off connector with his AWP, and the players practically jumped in front of his scope. Oh, yep, there we go. That's another one. Lime goes down, and there's so many flashes thrown on mid. JR now peeks in, and he shouldn't be able to see anything.
He might have spotted a little bit of the barrel, but he doesn't. And that's Mecha again with a double kill. He's opening things up, and he's already finishing the round before it started.
But I just put in on HELLRAISERS. What is this? Why is the caster such a real thing? I don't. Whoa, that was dangerous, Kalinka. But now Nivera's going to frag him out, and with that also the last player on the HELLRAISERS side being shot down. Heretics get their 4th round, and they are starting to make moves on equalizing this out.
I was once again attacked by our usual fly.
No, really?
Yeah, he was still there. He actually flew against the forehead. Like,
oh, yeah,
like
but
instant, like a torpedo moving in.
He was flying in like half into my eyes yesterday. It was not very fun.
But you do have beautiful eyes, RJ, so I can understand.
Someone's told me once that I have kind eyes.
Kind eyes?
Yeah, she was the only person to ever tell me that, funnily enough.
Does that like mean that you look Like
yeah,
you're a
that I
kind
have a
person
sweet,
to people?
Yeah, which is very ironic. No,
Oh. My girlfriend says that I look stupid. No, she doesn't. That would be terrible.
you've dumb eyes.
You have dumb eyes. No. Luckily, I haven't heard that just yet.
No, she just knows at the moment you open your mouth.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, that's just so mean. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's what technical time must do to you,
exactly.
RJ.
You know, you have to have something to talk about.
They break the momentum, and you figure you just go for a little bit of a flame fest. You shouldn't flame people. This
no.
is just friendly banter. We know each other
Indeed,
for
yeah.
a long, long time.
Yep.
And we dare to say slightly less kind jokes because they're only
Because that's
jokes.
what friends do to each other, you know. That like when you can take the piss out of someone, it means that you really do like them as a friend. It's the next stage, you know, because you know that you can do that kind of thing without it actually, you know, hurting them.
You hope. As we do see, of course, a buy to come in from the Heretics side. They're now on a little bit of a streak. But look at the nades coming in from HELLRAISERS. This might be a stack on towards the window, but oh, there's no player there. That's rather unfortunate. Lucky standing by AWP. Spots a player on towards short. That's the opening kill. Looks for more. Yet they're already in towards window. They're flanking. Actually flanking through market. So early in towards the round. And Zyvera getting only one frag before falling to problem. Still a player standing by. That's Kiyoshima. And he's just biting his time as now also XMS goes down. Oh, baby. This is a round and a half.
Yeah, Lime now actually has that M4 recovered as well, and you can see a very interesting map control here by HELLRAISERS, to be honest. Very well taken, thanks to the fact that there's a window. Kiyoshima here does frag out problem. He's tagged up a little bit, and Flaric is the last man standing. I'm not sure if that M4... No, it wasn't in B-Apsir. It was somewhere on the site, I think. Or was that maybe back towards mid?
It's somewhere.
Somewhere on the map it is, indeed.
Somewhere out there, but like... The big problem is here, I don't know how. With HELLRAISERS figured, well, we did some crazy nade stacks on towards Dust 2. We can make it even crazier. And Kiyoshima low HP. This block could kill you, but that's a good flick. But they stack 3 nades in towards window. And they're just rushing through. Not even regarding connector. Like if there would have been a player there, that could have been a frag or 2 for Heretics. They just rush through. They go through the window. The barricade not broken, as Heretics sometimes does, just to make sure that there might be an early warning if there would be a player trying to flank. Well, they hear the players coming through. Still, that's a kill on towards Zyvera. Still, that's a lot of map control gained. As you said, a very interesting map control. And they dealt quite some damage. 2 kills to come in with little to no investment.
Yeah, so that's solid there. Oh, problem. See, this is the kind of HELLRAISER aggressiveness that you have to be wary of sometimes, or aggression even. We'll see now if this does mean with Problem's position, he could actually frag someone out. There's no one actually at stairs, which was the position that he was looking towards. And indeed, he still does. We see XMS going down. This is his chance to repeat, but oh, jumps straight into that molly, and yeah, it's a nasty position to be stuck behind now. Problem there, quite heavily tagged up. 39 HP left. Kalinka here can grab that mid control. Smoke in front of connector also prevents Maka from getting the frags this time, but Kiyoshima, if they do decide to hop into window again, although I don't think
There's
they
a player
will.
holding his ankle, and there we see it. He gets a decent chunk of damage, and Kalinka, boom!
Lucky.
2 HP and a dream baby, as Kiyoshima still standing by, has to fall back as the player will be moving towards his position. That's Flaric. He doesn't stop moving. He just keeps on running, and they don't stop coming as Lime takes down XMS as well. It brings it into a player lead in favor of HELLRAISERS. 1 player more. And as Lime now takes down Mecca as well, goes for even more. Hello?
Wow. Yeah. I think that all started the moment Flaric got that frag onto short. I believe that was Kiyoshima that he took down, whilst he was just happily running in. And boom, Kiyoshima went down. And then the moment they tried to get onto that side, in the meantime, Lime was back on the A side, holding stuff off and fragging people there. Honestly, that was really well played. And, well, I'd say that HELLRAISERS there got a deserved round, but it was quite the fast-paced and a little bit chaotic, I think, on the Heretic side, you know, in the sense that they didn't quite know what was coming for them there.
A really crazy round, I dare to say. Just HELLRAISERS banking on Lime, opening up the entire A side without any opposition after already losing his teammate earlier on. Now we do see Mecha with a glass cannon AWP, as Lucky also had one with armor, but he goes down. It's Lime taking yet another opening frag on towards the A side, now overextending, going down to XMS. As Mecha takes down 1, he's running in towards the aim of Problem, and they could have called this out because they heard the player drop. Kiyoshima, luckily from short, able to refrag, brings it at least back in towards a favorable position for the Heretic side. But what was that round? You literally saw the player in ramp look around like, oh, I heard someone drop there. And then Mecha just runs back through connectors. if there is nothing he should care about. So where's the communication, guys?
Yeah, that is mainly a communicative problem where certain information just doesn't get called on through to the, well, obviously to the Heretic side. Oh, Kyoshima here. Oh, he'll just miss this, actually.
Oh, yes, he won't
But
even
JR,
contest. And, oh, Naivera.
Dangerous. He might miss bench at just the critical
Oh,
opportunity.
the smoke! This should be an indicator that Naivera is there. And we walks past the crosshair. Of course, the scope from JR. Now, JR will get a frag, but Kyoshima sending fly, saying, I'll refrag, no problem.
Oh, but Flash is the bomb, and he's got a definite plant down now, and now it's his moment to play for the after plant. Oh, but this is a fast play by Kyoshima, and also succeeding as he headshots Flourish there and can now go for that diffuse.
That's the counter. You run in on short,
Yeah,
I run in on towards the A side.
Yep, indeed.
Boom.
But it looked like almost as if Flourish was going to anticipate this. That he actually thought, like, okay, Kyoshima, he's just going to run in happily. But Kyoshima was just that, I think, 20 milliseconds faster or something.
There's one thing that is always grinding your gears. People running in without a care in the world. You don't expect it. You expect players to at least stop when they're moving. And play a little bit on the smart game. And if you're a high-ranked player and you play against some newer players that don't really know that principle all that well, you just don't understand how wide they peak. And that you saw as well from Kyoshima. He just ran in way past the angle you'd expect, and Flourish as well. He's like, oh, what? And he's already dead. Player just flying in like a Ferrari.
Ferrari almost. Wasn't it a Lamborghini that we saw yesterday?
Oh, yes, indeed. It's XMS not spotting the player in the smoke, of course, as he's in the smoke. And he's now biding his time. As the player now moves through, no calls being made by the side of HELLRAISERS. Flourish will go down. It is a 5-2-4 situation with JR now moving across the smoke as well. And these players might be caught off guard. That's one frag. Two frags. Because Lucky is not able to...
Three frags. But indeed, make it the 4 for Lime there. And now we see Naivera, last man standing, of course, on the B bomb site. But the bomb is going towards A now, quite logically. And Naivera here, he can go towards CT, but he's already stuck out as Lime shoots him down with a rapid, push through CT spawn. And that there was a surprisingly quick round, all thanks to JR completely fragging it out. And you can see that again here in the replay. Completely takes that mid. Lovely, lovely headshot then. And there, he spots the last player. Oh, you're going to peek me in short? And yes, indeed he does. JR there with the solid plays. And HELLRAISERS now having that definite advantage on towards the, second half.
I wouldn't have mind if JR would have had his first frag and then to be refragged and the player on towards the boxes also to be fragged out. That would make sense. But this round, no sense at all. It's going to be XMS fragging out problem once more. We don't understand what's happening because it doesn't make any sense. Lime moving up now, also being tagged up, but he still gets a frag alters Lucky. He chose his deagle shots. It's XMS coming in the SG and also Mecha taking down JR, leaving only 2 players remaining on that HELLRAISER side. Mecha, however, on 1 HP. A flashbang to the knee could actually kill him. Yet, well, we don't really see that coming in, as there's going to be a slight stack favoring the B side from the side of Heretics. Expecting with the opposition they have put down on towards A, that most likely HELLRAISERS will go to this other bomb side.
I would love to see that happen, Like Kalinka just throws out his smoke, hits Mecha, boom, smoke kill. It's just, that's one of those 1 in a million things.
Oh, Mecha just missed Kalinka.
Ooh, danger zone. The 2 low HP players battling it out. Flourish now will see him pushing through from underpass there. Oh, Mack is going to check this, and indeed he does frag out Kalinka. Now Flourish has to fall back. He does have the bomb in hand, so if they do believe that it's going to be the B bomb site, he could fall back to connector now, but problem is that they're going to rotate rather swiftly, I believe, so it's going to be down to Flourish here getting the initial frag, shooting out XMS indeed, I believe that to be. But that's going to be risky because he's going to have to meticulously check every angle. And indeed, 1 and a 2. He gets spotted out.
I think he had 4x3, so he couldn't see the player. Because if he has 16x9 like we have, he could see the entire spectrum.
Oh no.
And now we have an 8-7 lead in favor of HELLRAISERS still, again, at the end of this first half. But I must say I'm not too sad by the performance of Heretics, with them having 0% win rate on this map.
Yep, indeed. Now, of course, it has to be kept in mind that HELLRAISERS have a four map loss streak on this map. So for both for both teams, it's really not looking all that favorable. And maybe, just maybe this like this HELLRAISERS performance right now onto their second half, it's not really super decisive. It's not like, okay, HELLRAISERS, they own this map, you know? And to be fair, their Mirage win rate, it's 30%, so it's not really the most, you know, impressive, so to speak. And with that, I believe that maybe HELLRAISERS now, they can finish this off on the CT side, but they're going to have to play it out well enough. Are they going for mid control?
Oh, they're pushing through mid, but that might also mean they have a very quick flank to come in via air short or just the T stairs. And one player is moving towards there, and the rest of the team is going towards, of course, that B side. HERETICS is now getting the first frag. Kalinka still staying alive, and that is vital as he also gets a frag. Then he will fall, but still JR also moving in with a kill towards Lucky, leaving only 2 French players alive. Bomb, will he be planning? Well, they're still trying to duel it out, and live from that market area. There's only Nivera alive. He gets 1. Still needs to find 3 more, and he can't. JR with a second. And now, again, the CT side winning the pistol. 9-7, and HELLRAISERS starting off strong right here.
Yeah, we've seen, of all the pistol rounds that we've seen, all 5 of them, well, okay, let's go. The P90.
Oh, baby.
Oh, problem.
Oh, baby.
You love to see it. Let's see how that one gets played out, because we've seen that used in the past and not always so successfully. And it's a heavy investment, and I do think it's kind of banking on the fact that HERETICS is going on eco now, seeing as they didn't even get the bomb plant.
Even against armor, you have 50 bullets, baby. Just spray and pray and make it happen. They're going towards B, possibly. And Problem is standing by. He throws in the nade very sloppily, because he was still moving and threw it against the edge. We've seen many failed nades today, and that was just one of them. And with that nade, he scared them off. He's scaring them towards the hands of JR, who will be dinged, but of course, the MP9, it's money, baby. He even gets a second almost before going down to Nivera. However, now takes 1, will also be insta-dinged. Still gets a second this time around. At least that's improvement. Problem is coming in with P9 saying, I want kills too, but none will be given to him.
Aww.
Sad.
Such a shame, because it's, well, the P90, of course, it is that SMG, but you do get, I'm unsure if it's 300 or 100.
100. Or 300, I'm not sure. It's
because it's less.
It's
not the usual SMG reward, because the usual SMG reward is that 600. So, in a way, it's kind of a punishment, I suppose, for using that P90. And I do find it understandable, but still, it's a shame, you know. When you see that weapon, you do like to see it used.
Are you Googling it, just to be sure?
Maybe.
I would have Googled it otherwise, so I do agree with you in this Google's era.
300.
Oh, indeed. It's going to be XMS burning up. JR now with the opening frag, as his teammate will be body blocked by Kalinka. Maka will get the frag in return. This nade will maybe kill out XMS, but they've already fallen back. So that means that utility goes in towards the abyss. Nothing to be gained, nothing to be lost apart from some money. Mid control now gained by HERETICS as the party train is going towards B. Smokes to come in, but Lime, this angle hit might come in clutch as he gets the first frag. Already rotates because he's knowing that Problem with that P90. Interesting skin, by the way. Will be having some trouble, possibly. But he has 50 bullets. He has Lime. Once more getting kills. Hello, okay, please get him going with P90. Yes.
Yes, he finally does. Oh, you were hoping for it, really.
I was so scared he wouldn't.
And now the P90's gone. Such a heavy cash investment for just the 1 frag that he got.
It has served its purpose, RJ.
Yep.
It survived 1 round, went into the next, got a frag, and now he has an AK.
Yeah,
upgrade.
I mean, I do believe, yeah, there's a what other rifle would you possibly want, you know, besides an AWP, and JR's got that covered. So we'll see, though, now HELLRAISERS, they get that 11th round in, and I believe that HERETICS now starting to build up a bit of a deficit, might actually be looking towards losing the 12th, well, losing this round as well, the 12th then going to HELLRAISERS, due to the fact that, of course, you know, you've got HERETICS, they're on a Deagle, you know, buy now with a P250 in the hands of Maka. It's not really looking that favorable for them. But, of course, you know, you never do anticipate Kiyoshima hitting some insane Deagle shots. Case in point, he does get refragged by Kalinka in the end. And now utilities flying out. Maybe from Connector, they could hit 1 or 2 more Deagle shots. If they are going to be on head level, then that could potentially be some frags for HERETICS. And as I said, we've seen it before, but HELLRAISERS deals some damage. All right, at just the right moment, he looks away. You can see those deagle shots flying towards him, but now the molly's going to be thrown in, delaying them, making sure that they can't push through to connector. And that's going to put that timer at least down to 50 seconds. Of course, you know, the lower those seconds go, the more favorable things look for HELLRAISERS.
They're just biding their time, not going too aggressive, as of course they've already lost a player and killed one. It's a good trade, but those Deagles, they are mighty scary. Flair still on towards the default position at A, as this side of Heretics is going for an B short approach. Kalinka peeks in at the right time, now spots a player, but, well, he won't be expecting Nivera to be boosted. Nivera, now the AK, does not have a bit of armor, as Lucky does. The smoke now comes in, as Lucky with a bomb actually goes for that window peek. JR takes down Nivera, but this is maybe the lineup they were looking for. That damage will be dealt and a refrag to come in. Still 3 frags in favor of Heretics, and that's a very good round for themselves. As, well, HELLRAISERS has money, but this will put some pressure on towards their funds later on.
Absolutely, you do like seeing it when they are purely banking on those deals and maybe a bit of armor on some players, that they can still get 3 frags out. HELLRAISERS, of course, not that much of a problem for them. Double AWP coming in now, and they had the reserves to rebuy after this. You can see problem in Lime from that, of course, being quite low on cash. A little bit strapped, maybe not so much, because they've still got enough. But it is interesting to see now. Are HELLRAISERS going to be able to keep that pressure down on Heretics? Oh, and it looks quite like it, as Problem immediately frags out Kiyoshima. He was, of course, being his usual lurker self, going towards the B-bomb site, all by his lonesome there. But now it looks like Heretics are rotating around, are going to opt for that A site instead.
All by myself, I want to be all by myself, and, well, he won't be dead all by himself, as Mecha goes down to Lime as well. Wouldn't have expected that peak to come in with the game for at least to succeed, but still, HELLRAISERS currently having that aim advantage, it seems. And now we do see a very good situation unfold. There's still 1 player in Shadow, there's 1 player around the triple stack, and there's also a player in Jungle. So how can Heretics actually win this round? Well, their mollies needs to be on point, and, well, they do get the opening frag on towards Flair. It's looking the wrong way, with JR not actually covering off the ramp area. The nade will fly in, that will do no real damage. Lackshot as well towards Lucky. Next match with yet another frag of his own. Makes it in towards a 3-on-2. Damage is there. The frag as well on towards the bomb carrier. Now there's a player close to ticket booth, and JR, you might be in trouble, my friend, and he will be. And the same goes for Problem, who also gets a lucky shot. They're both so low, both on like 10 HP, and Kalinka, 1 bullet will do the trick on either of them. But you need to hit your shots earlier than an AWP of Nivera, or the AK of XMS will pull the trigger.
See now, XMS here, with Intel. Kalinka biting those shots. Now that's a good smoke coming in, but ooh, is Kalinka going to anticipate this? No, he looks away at the wrong time. Does get the frag, that's the one. And now that spray down through the smoke is coming there, has to commit. But oh, Nivera just too fast with that AWP. Takes out Kalinka, and with that, Heretics do get their 8th round in. And I believe, if I see it correctly, also their 1st round on this second half. They've had to wait for it quite a bit. But in the end, the result is there. And now, of course, the question being, are we going to see this well, show up in the next round? Because, of course, well, the problem, so to speak, is that Heretics, even if they did get their, well, decent enough win bonus, actually, no, never mind. They got plenty of money, of course. I underestimated the excess cash amounts on Nivera, for example, and I believe lucky that was. Now, though, HELLRAISERS have a chance to turn this back around because, well, they don't have the right weapons for it per se. You've got Problem and Lime with that MP9, and that's not the best loadout, you know, it's not ideal.
Kiyoshima, in the meantime, takes down Problem already as he has control of the B-apps. JR was holding the cross on towards mid, will eventually take down XMS, who was a key player in the last round. Also, a little bit of micro on that last round. JR just dropped from the ticket booth the moment he shot his shot at a player around 10. If he wouldn't have, I think he would have had the frag, and that would have really turned around in favor of HELLRAISERS. Now we do see Lime also going down, 4-3 in favor of the French side, and that these are just slowly getting some control. Bomb will be recovered, and then they will eventually decide on what side they want to go to. That will most likely not be A, because Flair's just got a frag there, but still they're moving in. And there's 2 players actually on towards T-spawn. Mecha and his friend will be moving up, and there's still a player on towards underpass as well. Of course, Kiyoshima lurking around, trying to get another frag in for his team. And there's one player in towards jungle. That's JR, the AWP. And then, of course, you have Flash on towards the side. 3 players spread Finn, as there will be a gamble from JR to go towards BS. Of course, they will be expecting, just like me, that Heretics, just losing a player in Palace, would not go for that Palace peak. But they are banking on Flash actually negating that area and saying, well, they'll just go for ramp or just for B. And Flash moving in, he gets a frag almost, but Flash still get another one. And now there is luckily Kiyoshiba with a wallbang. That brings it back into even numbers with JR trying to open things up. Is there enough time to plant the bomb? Just enough. And that means we now see Kiyoshiba trying to play it out passively. As he does move towards Tetris. 1 HP on towards the Nivera, and that taser not working out too well.
Oh, we see Link now. He's going for that spray down, but then Kiyoshiba comes in from ramp, and Nivera gets the final frag on JR. And for a moment, that looked completely to be in Hellraiser's hands, as Kalinka would have just had to connect one shot, even through a box, to take out Nivera. But it doesn't end up happening, and Heretics like that now can get their 9th round in. Hellraiser's now actually forced onto an eco because they don't have any reserves left. And now we'll see what they make out of that as, well, as Heretics now are very certain almost, I dare say, of their double digits being achieved. The 10-12 result. We'll have to see in a moment if it will be Hellraisers maybe at least dealing some considerable damage now on the Eco, or trying to turn it around in some other manner.
Interesting thing for me in this round is that Flash has upgraded to the P250, and Lime, who always plays the P2K, has now decided to go for a USP, picked up, of course, after being dropped by his teammate. Why? You're always banking on the P2K, and now you're swapping her out? That's not a way to play, or is it?
Oh,
if he gets frags, he'll prove me wrong.
Maybe it is, you know. Maybe it's just that P2K coming in clutch. You prefer the USB, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Who doesn't?
I prefer it. To be fair, I do have to say one thing, though. I don't think I've ever actually rolled with the P2K.
Oh, at a certain point, I was a little bit in the middle. I tried the one, then the other, and I figured the USB just a little bit easier to control.
Yeah, because it's basically the CT side equivalent of a Glock, right? And I do wonder if it does give it a certain advantage. I think it may be more, you know, aligned to you if you like to play for those close-range shots. Oh, Kalinka there gets headshotted by Kiyoshiba. And that's once again a good start, of course, for Heretics. But as we said, on Eco, this is to be expected.
We still, however, have Flourish in towards Palace with a P250. And the player slowly moving in is Nivera with his AK. Will he be able to respond in time?
Oh.
No, he won't. And that's the AK now being granted to the Hellraiser side. That won't give them the round, of course, because they're not in a good position. Yet, it's at least a little bit of damage done on towards no investment. Another frag comes in. Kiyoshiba, he can't really choose on what player he wanted to frag upon. Now another AK to be saved, even with a frag grenade. As Flourish got a flashbang. They all get those perks, and this is just sloppy from the Heretic side.
Yeah, XMS is waiting, and he does. Ooh. For a moment there, I thought he was going to be certain of JL being fragged up, but no, it doesn't look like it. And now we see the Hellraisers players that have recovered those AKs are falling far back, not wanting to risk anything and just wanting to be certain of taking those AKs with them to the next round coming in. And understandably so, of course, because at the end of the day, they are playing on the CT side, and these are AKs, so what's not to love? And we do see that there aren't going to be any more last engagements. And then it's Heretics now taking their 10th round, however. Hellraisers still 2 rounds ahead, and now with a full buy coming in, especially supported by the fact that they recovered those AKs.
Yeah, but no AWP.
Oh, that's a shame.
JR was $50 short, and the rest of his team couldn't drop either. And I think that will really hurt them, because they're often banking on JR opening things up, or at least being that long-range support that they do need, having those players possibly being baited out at the close range.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they play that out now. I mean, rifles aren't that bad, you know. I mean, look at Flourish. He makes it work. For him, it's not a problem. Just give that man an AK, and he'll make you just go absolutely mad. But now we see, well, the bomb not exactly in the hands of any players right now. It is at top mid, I believe, if I see it correctly.
No, it's currently at the T-stairs, as it is.
Oh, my eyesight is the worst.
Well, maybe your hindsight is 20/20. At least you have something then.
True, true. At some point, I'll get that. You know, that LASIK eye surgery.
Laser.
Yeah, laser eye surgery, basically. But it's just, well,
Technology.
It's technology, and apparently there is like a tiny risk of you going blind. So that's kind of that's a bit.
Well,
bit
you
scary.
wouldn't see any less on the minimap regardless, so
True.
that's okay.
True. Anyhow, though, now we see HELLRAISERS here. They have a one-man advantage. They've got a decent enough buy, but they are biding their time. Of course, the pressure is on Heretics. They have to push onto the site, and they look to be trying that A site. Utility now flying in. Flashes, smokes, etc. Everything that they might want. But Lime here, he peeks out, and he does actually go for that splay. Flourish, though, he comes in clutch from CT. Make that a triple kill. Are we going to see the ace?
Well, it might be,
No.
but there will be Lucky in the way. There's at least one frag going in favor of Heretics, but still
What?
3 more to fight. Make them 2! Almost 1, as he could have had a frag on towards Problem, who also decided to go for a peek. But it's still the round for HELLRAISERS, 13-10. And RJ, I think there's a very good chance, just statistically speaking, that we once more will see a 16-12 win on someone's map pick. But this opening kill from Flourish and the rest that he put on, great showing. Lime being happy that at least the first frag went in favor of the HELLRAISERS side, and then Flourish just getting those headshots time and time again. Maybe slightly over-aggressing on towards the last player, as the rest of his team also did. But they are now in the lead even longer, and we do see a little bit of a force bite come out from Heretics. There will be AKs, but one Deagle and a lack of utility. Never mind.
Ooh. Could be a negative forebode, but Kiyoshima as well takes out Kalinka, who decides to just go up the stairs, but then wasn't actually looking if there are any players, or was looking the right. Oh, Flourish here.
Yeah, but Nivera, he figures there were only 2 players because one was being boosted and the other one they have already killed. So when Kalinka went down, they didn't regard any more players there, but Lucky is still standing by. Triple kill for him, and only JR alive, the AWP. Most likely hoping to save it, as he will get 1 frag. We'll go for another on towards short, and Lucky will be there in the ladder room. He just throws in a smoke and bites his time, as the bomb will cross slowly but steadily through the apps towards B.
Slow and steady wins the race. We've said it before. And now Heretics, with that, will almost be guaranteed that 11th round. They do still have to get the plant in, but 1, 2, 3, there it is. And now JR, oh, he is still going quite aggressive, though, I have to say. Oh, but if he looks up at the ladder room at the right time, he could actually get a frag out of this. Of course, at the same time, he could just get fragged out himself. Still quite aggressive. Lucky holding off that short angle. JR, I don't believe he's actually made noise just yet.
Until he scopes.
Until he scopes, indeed, and that's what we're waiting for now. But I think he's also kind of aware of the risk. See, Lucky patiently holding short. HELLRAISERS now have to take a loss. We see Heretics. They grab the 11th round. HELLRAISERS. Oh, here we go. We're going to see that frag. Is JR going to
he
lose?
goes away the wrong way.
Oh.
And Lucky, he just figured, oh, if there's nobody there right now, there won't be anyone there anyway. And JR, he had a hunch. He just wasn't able to pull the trigger as there wasn't a player standing by. But 13-11, Heretics winning yet another round for themselves. And there are chances of them making it happen. There are chances that HELLRAISERS will still lose their own map pick, especially looking at their economy now. They have an AWP on towards JR, and the rest of the team is just on an eco because they have a Deagle, and that's pretty much it.
And that one, I believe it's... Oh, no, it's 2 deals, actually.
Sick.
Wow, amazing. Let's see, though. We've seen some amazing 1-digs happen, so wouldn't be surprised if HELLRAISERS managed to bring that to the table. But they do need to be well supported by JR. Gets the first frag. Lucky goes down. And Lucky, we saw him coming quite clutch in the last round, actually getting a lovely double kill. So maybe that is just the player that they need to frag out. Nivera now pushes up onto the site. Lime here, he's holding his angles meticulously, waiting. We see XMS tagged up. Nivera does frag out Problem, but here, Lime waits, and indeed Patience enough does get 1 frag out of it. And here's the engagement. JR does actually get the frag on XMS. Ooh, this is actually pushed down to a 2v2 situation with equal weapons. JR can peek in with his AWP. Can look. Kalinka could peek up from stairs here, but doesn't immediately spot the player. Kiyoshima, though, goes to that engagement. Now it's that 2v2 still. Maka takes out JR. Kalinka does refrag. Oh, that's dangerous. Oh, that's not good for my nerves. My heart, Kalinka. Oh, we'll see now. He pushes up and the bomb is ticking. Kalinka realizes the pressure is on him and he didn't even have a defuse kit, so obviously he had to try something. A lot of damage dealt to the Heretics side in that round, but Heretics has the reserves to rebuy. HELLRAISERS pinched for time, and you saw that in Kalinka's movements at the end there. couldn't really do much except just force himself to push up, and that was an engagement that he couldn't win. Now, we do see HELLRAISERS. They will be going into a solid buy now, with utility, with weaponry, with everything that they might want. But HERETICS, equal fighting odds.
You said Flareage on the side with the Deagle was patient enough, but I think he wasn't patient enough, because that player moved through, didn't spot him. And if yet another player would have been actually in his vision, he could have had a double kill, and that's a position you don't often check. That's why they usually call it the ninja spot as well, because you get a pretty good ninja frags, or at least a defuse sometimes from that position. And if he would have had 2 frags, I think the round would have been done and dusted. HERETICS would not have been able to recover from that, because they just didn't really have the pressure at that moment in time to get a bomb down. And that could have really meant that HERETICS would have lost in the end. But now we already have the opening frag. Lime is coming in with the first one of his own. Will now upgrade to the AK, or at least he tries to. And that's the greediness, going in for weapons, which you shouldn't do. And once more, we see why.
Flareage, he's under wood, but this is a spot that will definitely get checked. And he's angsty, you know, because possibly there could be someone coming from balance. But now, though he does check it, there is still a player in Sandwich there. And he is in a nasty spot. You can see the both of them kind of playing around him, and indeed Kyoshima peeks in. Maka gets the frag on JR. Problem comes in clutch. Let's get the one frag. He's down in a 1v2 and doesn't stand much of a chance. 13-13. HERETICS now on equal ground with HELLRAISERS. HELLRAISERS, of course, their economy not in a good spot. We'll see now if with that, maybe, just maybe, HERETICS could take the upper hand here. We played down Mirage. I think we both kind of agreed, okay, 0% win rate for HERETICS, you know, this isn't really their map, this isn't really their ballpark. And HELLRAISERS, 30%. But maybe, you know, the loss streak that I highlighted is a clear indicative sign of some sort of problem. Maybe that's going to become a 5 map loss streak now, going from losing 4 times on Mirage to 5 times at this rate. Because right now, well, what is this buy, actually? What's that scout doing on JR?
It's a little bit of pistol armor.
Yeah.
And that means that they are most likely for going yet another round, but we have to say that previous pistol armor, they did quite well. The big thing is, of course, we see HERETICS having 0% win rate on Mirage. That means they don't play Mirage well, but they have played it. And
3 times.
30% on towards HELLRAISERS means they also played, but also not too well. And then it might be a little bit of 50-50, you dare to say, but JR with the scout just peeking in. Never mind, Mecca's gone. And that's once more the opening kill for HELLRAISERS on towards HERETICS, who are just not careful enough, not respectful enough of these weapons. JR, of course, being leg shotted, so Mecca at least hit him. That should have been kill, right? It should have been, at least let's say, the AWP of Mecca has an easier amount of body to shoot on for a kill than JR would.
Indeed. No, absolutely right, absolutely right. But JR just a bit of the speedy Gonzalez, you know? Lucky Luke. Although, no, actually, I feel like calling him Lucky Luke doesn't make sense. I believe that, oh, that would be lucky, but Kyoshima here also getting tagged up by that same scout. JR scout definitely coming in clutch here so far. The rest of the team has those Deagles that they're rocking, and I believe is that, wait.
5-7 onto problem? Yes.
Yeah, it's a 5-7. Oh, you don't see the 5-7 all that much. You know, it's usually the P250 or that Deagle coming in. 5-7 is good if you prefer that faster fire rate, you know, if you really want to...
And more bullets.
More bullets. Basically, if you like clicking more, then you should go for the 5-7.
Do you like clicking a lot?
No, I do prefer the P250 or the Deagle, actually. Oh, lucky. That's just a clean frag for him, not much more to say to it. Flareage here goes to an engagement, but he can't hit his 1D. Not today, it seems. Now Vera here spots out a player. Plant is now finally coming in from HERETICS after quite a long bit of waiting. Problem does end up fragging Kyoshima there. Goes to the engagement here. That's the 5-7. It comes in clutch for a moment, but now only JL left, and he pops up from CT, has a look-see, but does end up losing his life. And with that, HERETICS also lose that round, or HELLRAISERS also lose that round. They both start with an H. It makes it so difficult.
Yeah.
And the problem is, you know, that now HERETICS have actually gained that advantage. And, well, obviously also what I put in on vi.gg also isn't very beneficial then. Obviously that.
How much did you put in, RJ?
Do you really want to know?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
I want to be able to laugh at you.
Oh, you are a mean man.
I know.
That's what I get, right? Oh, maybe it was maybe 20 euros.
Oh my God.
Wait, no, actually, no, 15.
It's still bad. Well, we do see the nade coming down on towards the Heretic member, so maybe you're in luck, as there will be the opening frag from Kalinka, yet he will fall to Nivera as well, and I see you being shocked to the core.
It's just this is just so messy by HELLRAISERS. They were playing pretty consistently, pretty cleanly, you know, at times, but it's just seemingly gone now, and they keep getting out-fragged by HERETICS this time round. And I feel like, you know, with that, HELLRAISERS is just, well, quite obviously losing their advantage. If they can't out-frag HERETICS, then they can't win the rounds. But in this case, they've got the CT side advantage. They just have to wait them out. They just have to wait for HERETICS to show up. But the problem is, when HERETICS do execute, when they do show up on the site, they're doing it pretty well. They're doing it pretty successfully. And so HELLRAISERS, they do sadly but surely lose out on a few rounds. And maybe, though, this, you know, could be going to overtime. That's also a possibility, something to keep in mind.
Well, there's always chances as Nivera will be tagged up slightly, but it's going to be Kiyoshima taking down JR. Another opening frag in favor of the Heretic side, but there's a player in towards CT who now moves away for some reason, and there's a player in Palace who is not really contesting. The bomb of Lucky still not to be planted, and it really gives it time for HELLRAISERS to get in towards a position. The player in Palace soon to peek, as it will be Lime trying to give a little bit of distraction. And Flares, he's trying to spot out the players, but he just can't find his mark just yet. What's the player? He will be taken out by Kiyoshima. And that's a second frag for the French player in this round. Lime moving up will go for a peek, but he as well will be peeked out by Kiyoshima, leaving only Problem alive in 1v4. And it seems so doable for the side of HELLRAISERS. They could have stopped that bomb plant from going down, but they didn't. They didn't even peek in. And that means now we have a 15th round in favor of HERETICS and RJ. I'm not sure, but your Caster Clash not looking too great, is it?
No, I did win one thing today, but that was not
a sickening amount of euros.
Yeah, there's whopping 4, I believe, if I check again. Oh, actually.
What?
I think 390 or something.
Oh my god, it's getting better by the minute.
Yep, 390. That's just madness. Absolute insanity. Yeah, so that's not very good, is it? Because now HELLRAISERS has to play it out for overtime with a really mediocre buy, you know. Look at this. Those 4 FAMASs, they're not bad weapons, but they're not really what you'd like to play with in this case. You know, if you're going up against AKs, AWP, full utility, and you yourself, you have, on certain plays, 1 smoke, 1 flash. Most of the utility's gone now. And this is a quick underpass play. Lucky is anticipated. What is it? What are you trying to do here, HELLRAISERS?
They're trying to open up the score in their favor, yet it doesn't really work out. HERETICS now 2 players more.
It's a bold tactic, right? I get the idea. The flash was there, but the flash didn't really hit where it should have. And then you're just going to run into Lucky's crosshair because they can hear you coming. They know, oh, well, there's a flash coming out from underpass. That didn't come there naturally. So logically, he's going to be waiting. He's going to see, you know, 2 players coming up. Kiyoshima frags out Problem, and, well, I'd say that this is the decisive 16-13. I'm just going to call that now. So maybe the Caster Curse will come in, and maybe HELLRAISERS will turn it around.
Oh, you're banking on the Caster Curse, but Kiyoshima is moving up against yet another frag on towards Flares. This man so far not to be stopped as Maka with the last frag on towards Lime. 16-13 indeed to come out from the side of HERETICS, and, well, winning their opponent's map pick, a map where they actually had a 0% win rate